people talk about the self-defense techniques of jiu-jitsu and or the lack of self-defense techniques for jiu-jitsu. Now, what I will say is this. I've been in some self-defense classes that you're teaching, and you don't focus it on a lot, but occasionally you'll do a self, and I act almost every time you teach one of those self-defense classes, I pick something up. I learn something.
Okay. Well, I it is true. When we were young starting, it was born from the UFC. Let's see, motive. Everyone's like, oh, Hoist Gracie, that was the main thing. Hickson Gracie, Vale Tudo. And back then, at least your coach could fight or has been in fights. And I'm not criticizing anyone, but it's a martial art. Martial being what? War, confrontation. I'm not saying you want to be confrontational or be in fights, but if you can't use jiu-jitsu to defend yourself when it counts most, I don't know if it's not really a martial art anymore. So, yeah. On the other hand, if you think that, I've had people tell me this, oh yeah, Dean, I saw you're a good fighter in UFC, but if you tried at me, I'd poke your eyes. And I go, okay, thanks for letting me know, warning me, because that's kind of scary. I could poke their eyes too. I don't tell them because childish argument. See, if you do one class one time, that's why you have to roll and do it. For boxing, you need someone actually throwing punches at you and learn how to stop those and move away from the punches. Just hitting a bag or brick not hit back, So if anyone here listening is under 25, no one's going to understand what that means. But so having this, putting yourself in hard situations, jiu-jitsu is all about problem solving. You get to a situation and you learn how to solve the problem. You get relaxed and you learn to deal with this. I think that's really important, to know how to relax, how to conserve your energy, as you said, knowing when to attack. There's psyops, there's mental tactics, there's, you can tell a lot about a person, how they fight. You can see if they're dirty, if they take shortcuts, if they have a temper. You can see if they're patient. You can see if they're explosive. You can see if they're lackadaisical. You can see a lot of things about someone, if they're greedy.
That's why I'm laughing. Dean accuses me of being greedy. And he's right. I will get greedy with a move and I'll hang on to something that I shouldn't hang on to, and I'll end up in a position that I shouldn't be in, and then Dean will immediately start going, greed.
Well, you can tell a lot about a person by how they fight, and also how they handle a defeat and how they handle a victory. That's why I don't do it as an outward display, but every time I win against someone, I never run around yelling. I check on them, and if I lose, I shake my opponent's hand. I'm not saying anything admirable about that, but that's something I always strive to be, is someone that's respectful. And you can see, as you said, humility is taught, and if people don't like to be humbled, they're probably not going to last very long doing a martial art, especially jiu-jitsu, because it's such a close and personal, like, you got owned. Like,
there's no escape.
That arm belongs to Jocko.
There's no debate. Yeah. There's no debate. You just got tapped out.
You can't lie in a fight.
You just got tapped out. Now with some other martial arts, it's like, well, if this was a real fight, I would have done this, that, or if I would have punched him harder, I would have done something else. I would have done something different. It's like, in jiu-jitsu, you got put in a position where this dude could have ripped your shoulder apart, or put you to sleep and killed you. So there's truth in jiu-jitsu, and that's why it's so humbling.
That's what I said. You could tell a lot by how someone is. If we have a sport like golf or sprinting, these are all sports and they're good, but I don't know how someone swings a golf club. I can't tell too much about their personality, but if someone takes a punch and they look right back at you and they punch you back, that person's there's something about that guy that's different than the average guy who turns away and runs away. If someone tries to arm lock me and I relax and I escape, I time it correctly. There's timing, there's technique. Of course, it makes some kind of sense. I don't know. Back to the self-defense aspect. Yeah, I think you should be prepared for a worst-case scenario. And actually, for some weird reason, now that I can fight, no one even messes with me. I'm not going around trying to pick fights with anyone, but for some reason, no one even tries to fight me right now.
I wonder why.
I'm not. But I've noticed.
You look like a mutant, bro.